This is Magic City Soccer, your home for everything you need to know about soccer in Miami-Dade County. Hello, soccer fans in South Florida and beyond, and welcome to our show. We're very happy to have you here this evening. We are live. It is one of our live podcasts, so say a little prayer, cross your fingers, whatever you need to do to make sure that things keep working. We are here at Concrete Beach Brewery in Wynwood. The Miami FC is celebrating the kickoff of the National Premier Soccer League season. It's a very active season for them this year, and we'll get into a lot of details about that as we get started. But we do want to let you know, obviously if you're watching this, it's on YouTube, but we will be talking a little bit more and sharing the link on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you may be joining us. If you want to join the conversation, you're more than welcome, again, to add comments, reply us on our tweets, comment on our Facebook page. I actually see someone already left a comment on Twitter, which we do appreciate. We want this to be interactive. We're getting ready to start another soccer season down here in South Florida, and there's nothing more exciting than getting the opportunity to talk about soccer. We're going to get some non-Miami FC stuff out of the way here at the top. Drew Hausman, Lee Efens will be joining us shortly. But a couple of big news stories that have been going on over the last couple of days, with some news particularly this afternoon. The redevelopment of Lockhart Stadium. This is a Miami-focused podcast, but Miami decided to step across the border and insert itself in Broward County soccer politics when Inter Miami announced they wanted to redevelop the Lockhart Stadium site for the purposes of placing their youth academy there. Now, what Inter Miami did or didn't know, and we'll find out about that a little bit later down the road, I guess, was did they know that there was another rival bid? FXE Football, as you heard on our last episode, have another plan for Lockhart Stadium. They want to see Lockhart Stadium developed as a USL Championship level stadium, independent of Inter Miami, with a focus on a redevelopment with retail and entertainment. Now, the news that came out today was that FXE Football and Inter Miami CF have filed their plans with the City of Fort Lauderdale, and the City of Fort Lauderdale will be the one to ultimately make the decision. But both of them technically have the right, if they so wish, to hold negotiations in private, and then the city would pick a plan and then allow public comment. Now, if you're familiar with the plan as things have gone in the city of Miami, obviously there's been a lot of public comment before the actual vote on whether the plan will go forward. Based on the way that this plan is going, because the city of Fort Lauderdale accepted, and before things got started, accepted no bid requests to basically put both plans under consideration, they had the right to privately discuss and debate the plans before picking one. With today's announcement by Inter Miami CF and the intention of FXE Football, which we received this afternoon, it appears that both organizations want the debate and discussion in public before a vote would be held. So that's pretty big news that's currently taking place. We expect both Inter Miami and FXE Football to reach out to the Fort Lauderdale community, hold town meetings, things like that, to try to generate interest. And we have some reason to believe that the vote on these plans may happen sooner rather than later. So that's going to be an interesting development. Inter Miami CF obviously has the name recognition at this point, but FXE Football has made a tremendous effort in trying to build community support for the plan. Again, you've heard us speak to representatives from FXE Football. We are efforting to get representatives from Inter Miami CF to talk about their plan with us. We hope to speak with them in the coming weeks before any vote with the city of Fort Lauderdale. The next big news that we have to talk about, obviously, again, Miami FC, we're going to hold off on that, but we kind of want to clear some of the deadwood out of the way. Felix Varela High School out of Miami-Dade County claimed for themselves a state championship. It is their third state title in the last decade. It's their first since 2008, so congratulations out to the Vipers for claiming that one. Besides that, we're kind of in a waiting pattern. David Beckham is out in Los Angeles speaking to his fans out there at the statue unveiling that LA Galaxy announced. It's the first statue for an MLS player in the league's history, not only for LA Galaxy, but for the league as a whole. That's a pretty big announcement and achievement. He spoke to Rob Stone of Fox Sports out there basically commented on how long and difficult the Inter-Miami CF process had been, but seemed very optimistic that that plan was developing. Inter-Miami CF also announcing this week that they are forming their youth academy. Inter-Miami CF does exist in the U.S. Development Academy system as of today. They also intend to participate in the Florida Youth League, which is being formed by a lot of the big name players in youth soccer down here in South Florida and up in the northern part of the state, because the U.S. Soccer Development Academy system is no longer supporting U12 development. They're turning that responsibility back over to the leagues and the teams, the clubs individually. And so the clubs here in South Florida are deciding to band together and kind of do their own thing together. Inter-Miami CF will be part of that. Weston FC, which was the supply for a lot of the coaches for Inter-Miami CF's youth academy, will participate as well. Jacksonville Armada and Tampa Bay Rowdies, their youth academies, are participating in that league. So it'll be interesting to see over the next couple of weeks and months how the youth academy system changes, molds, and works around this new player, Inter-Miami CF. That's the big news, obviously, on the MLS front and on the Broward front. So let's bring it back local. Let's bring it back down here to South Florida and to Miami-Dade County. And let's talk about Miami FC. Miami FC coming out with a lot of news today, confirming their participation in Founders Cup and that the majority of those games will take place at Barry University Stadium. That's a change from last year when the club played at St. Thomas University, which was essentially their training ground. Barry University is a bigger venue. It's a venue that's more similar to Tropical Park, if you've ever been there, or Traz Powell Stadium. It's kind of a middle ground between St. Thomas and Ricardo Silva Stadium. And on that note, the team will be playing at Ricardo Silva Stadium for one game in the Founders Club when the New York Cosmos return to South Florida for the first time since 2016. So that is a lot of big news that'll be coming out over the next couple of days. Drew Hausman, I'm going to invite you on now. Are you? It's better to sit here. Let's go.
It's very short.
No,
hold us back.
So it should be big enough for our purposes. We'll see. It's rowdy. We got a lot of Miami FC players. We got Golazo in the background. A lot going on here. Drew, I was just talking about Miami FC's move this year to Barry University Stadium. How do you think that'll impact the club?
I think it'll be a good opportunity. It's a lot larger stadium. I think we said in the past that we all prefer kind of the stands they have there. It's probably one of the best college sites in South Florida, maybe outside of UM, but that,
UM would be much closer to St. Thomas than it would be something like what that Barry has.
Yeah, but Barry's really nice. I like it, man. I'm super excited to be here now. It feels like the season's actually starting, where everything before has been announcements, but to see players at a place and the team throw something, it's looking pretty good. But yeah, Barry's a great facility. I think it's a lot closer, kind of centralized for people in Miami to experience the team. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm predicting it right now. We're going to at least win every home game there. So.
Very confident. I appreciate the confidence. Yeah, I think it's a good venue. I think it's also very exciting that the club is returning Ricardo Silva. It seems kind of like a line in the sand, almost, that they're aware of the struggle and rest in peace, NASL, the struggle over the last 2 years to get the team back into that kind of size venue. And I think it's so appropriate that it's going to be the Cosmos coming back down.
Yeah, exactly. One of our former NASL foes, and to bring in the Cosmos is huge because as hacky as it sounds, and the whole FTC movement, if you know about the Cosmos, you'll know what that means. But they're a drawing team, considering they're a classic team from the NASL in the 70s. So many people know that name, and to have them as the first game, Detroit's going to be a huge game. Chattanooga's going to be a huge game. But the first game back, kind of sparking that old rivalry back up, I'm very excited for that one.
I think that the Founders Cup is going to present a unique opportunity for the club because it is kind of a mix of old and new. The Cosmos are that old rival from the NASL days. But if the struggle that the team has been involved with the last few years has pulled them into this kind of lower-level soccer discussion. And the clubs that were in that discussion long before Miami FC were Chattanooga and Detroit. And so the fact that these two clubs now are going to be squaring off in the Founders Cup, I think it like I said, I think it's a really good blend of old and new.
Yeah, and the Cosmos one will be interesting too because I think they retained some of their NASL players. A couple are still around there, and we have a couple of our guys still on the squad. So that'll kind of be interesting to see how they all handle it. You know, if they'll be like, hey man, these guys are a way back rivalry. You know, whether it be 2 years or not, I feel like it's one of those things where you could be like, all right, this goes deeper than what it seems like.
You definitely know that the players that were on that 2016 squad, the 2017 squad, have got to have a little bit of soreness about that semifinal loss leading up to the Soccer Bowl. That's one that's gonna, if you're a player in that, you're on that kind of team that was of that quality, and to lose that opportunity in the semifinals, again, it's been a few years, it's a different league, but that those old pains die hard.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe last year that's kind of something we were lacking with the team. We had the rivalry with Miami United, but that was kind of a fresh rivalry. So to bring back some old blood and kind of bring it around full circle, it's great for the local scene, and it's great for the fourth division in the U.S. to kind of have some of these big names clash at each other. So
let's talk about Miami United for a second, because there are two things I want to talk about related to them. First off, sticking with Miami FC as well, the doubleheader, the first 2 games of the season are going to be Miami FC, Miami United, out of nothing into the fire. This is going from 0 to 100 real quick.
This is what happened last year too. Last year. But it also I feel like more so this year than last year, this will determine who wins that conference. Because no offense to Jacksonville, they kind of retreated back. They became more of a B under 23 team. I think they're playing as under 23s now. I don't want to kick them while they're down, but they haven't done much in the offseason. But I feel like this whole Sunshine Conference is just these 2 teams. So if you can get 2 wins out of those first 2 games, I think you win the conference.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I would think that as last year was kind of a 3-team race. I think this year is kind of a 2-team race, to be honest. But based on the quality of the players that are in both sides, it's going to be really, really hard for one of these other teams in the Sunshine Conference to dislodge Miami at the top. The other thing I wanted to mention, Miami United have another friendly lined up. We've talked about it before a little bit, but playing against another major Central American side, this time not South American, I think that's a really big statement of intent from Roberto Sacca and the ownership group over at Miami United.
Yeah, they've been amazing with their preseason friendlies. In the past, I feel like they've brought some incredible teams to South Florida, but this year they really ramped it up and, turned the speaker to 11. Spinal Tap, there we go. Had to throw that in there. Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting, too, also seeing who they field out, because they've been kind of quiet about announcing players. We kind of have a rough feel of who's on their squad. Chris Nurse played in the friendly against Penarol. And to tie Penarol 2-2, being down 2 goals,
yes,
that was amazing. I did not expect that, and that was completely mind-blowing. So
again, talking about a statement of intent. Yeah. That was definitely a statement of intent.
Yeah, and also for them, that's their preseason. So I'm very interested to see what tricks are up their sleeve, what kind of surprise players we see at this one. I don't think it's going to be the same squad. I think we're going to maybe see a bit of a bulk up or a little bit of an evolution of that Penarol squad. But yeah, I mean, they're bringing good soccer down here, and they're throwing themselves in a rough preseason. They're also, I think on Tuesday next week, they're playing the Puerto Rican national team in friendly 2. I don't think that's going to be streamed.
Actually, no, that was last Tuesday.
Was that?
I believe it was last
Tuesday.
I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Someone to let us know in the comments.
They're kind of keeping it under wraps. It's not very well
one of those
reported on.
Closed door.
It either happened or it's happening, but still, like
it's Schrodinger's friendly.
To play. I don't care what country they're from. To play any team's national team in a preseason friendly is always a good look and some good competition. So they're really putting the reps in at the gym going into those first 2 games.
Absolutely.
They're putting on their summer bods right now.
We have a couple of questions that have come in from us. Well, actually, first off, we have an email. I'm going to get to that email a little bit later in the podcast, but kind of talking about FXC and Inter Miami. But I do want to answer this question we had come in over from Twitter. Sebastian J. Milo, at Sebastian J. Milo on Twitter. What do you see in the future for Miami FC and the impact they have in the soccer community? And first off, NPSL Soccer, good gift game with the reply. You guys are up at a pretty late hour. Your outside business hour still replying on Twitter. That's good. Good look. But second, I think this is a question we're going to be asking a couple of times tonight as we get some members of the club over to talk to us. What is the direction of the team, and how does this club see its impact in South Florida soccer? Not just in terms of wins and losses, but actually impacting the soccer community. That's kind of been a repeating refrain that we've heard from people like Sean Flynn and Paul Dalglish. It's more than just the on-field product. It's about the club's involvement in the community. I think this year their big goal has to be, first off, the Youth Academy.
Yes.
And the Youth Academy has already been competing in competitions with that Miami FC jersey on. I think that's a big place to kind of, again, put your foot down and say what you're interested in doing. The second thing is consistency and stability. I think Miami FC have lived a long time with some inconsistency and some instability, and this year they finally have the opportunity to put their stake in the ground and let people know what they're going to be doing. And I think that a good showing in NPSL and a good showing in the Founders Cup could prove to be very beneficial, not obviously just for this year, but going forward as there'll be new and bigger competition in the market.
Yeah, I think the youth team thing was huge. I think kind of since the conception of the team, we were all waiting for it. When they were originally in the NASL, I kind of assumed or was hoping at some point they would make an NPSL kind of B squad or under 23 like the Cosmos did, and the Armada and the Strikers had at one point. But no, the league kind of collapsed before they can finalize those plans. But part of the thing with the Youth Academy, it's really giving local players an opportunity to play, or young players in South Florida, which is a key involvement. And not to call out the B word, but with Beckham McCummett, the really important thing is to get people involved and youth involved to kind of help sustain the team for the future, and also the community relations aspect. So I think I've been critical in the past of their lack of involvement. I'll say that quietly while nobody's listening to me, but this year they really ramped it up, and it's great to see. And I think the move to Barry University is a big deal too, where they're a lot more local, and that will also help with it. So,
yeah, St. Thomas was a fun venue for what it was, but you could basically kick a ball and it would wind up in Broward County. That's how close it was to the county line. So getting it a little bit closer to the downtown core, getting it, again, another university site where you have access to a younger audience, I think that's important. And I do think, we hope to get Paul Dalglish on here in a little bit. I spoke to Paul back in December when they announced the partnership with the Soccer Academy of the Americas. And at the time, it was kind of a worst-kept secret that Inter Miami wanted to partner with some of the people from Weston FC, which is one of the bigger academies in South Florida and therefore the country. And Soccer Academy of the Americas is one of the other ones down here that's one of the biggest. And so the fact that they were able to partner with Soccer Academy, the fact that they were able to get an established brand name into the fold, I think that will pay off tremendously in dividends. And obviously you can actually see over my left shoulder now everyone's favorite
new Youth Academy signed player.
I have arrived.
Yes, he is young and spry.
The grey hairs tell a different story.
It's dyed. It's clearly dyed white. Okay, yeah, we have a question from the audience. Okay, Natasha, hello.
Hey,
Natasha Moya.
how's it going? I have a question
Yes.
from the audience.
What's up?
Drew Houseman, can you explain your jersey and whose name you have on the back?
Whose name do you have on the back? I don't know. It was so Drew's representing.
We can't really think
Oh, yes, so blast from the past, Brad Rustin. So Brad is off. He's having success in Indy, right?
He retired.
Oh, he retired.
Yeah.
But I sometimes lose track of things. But no, he had moved to Indy before retiring, right?
Yes.
And got
Indy 11, fairly successful.
Yeah.
Last year over there. And,
good turn. Had some injury troubles here in Miami, but got back up there and got some play in before he called it a career. Lee.
Favorite Kingfisher. Sorry.
Yes, everyone's favorite Kingfisher.
Isn't it obvious?
Lee, we'll kind of rope you in, and I'm going to step off for a second, kind of give you the floor so I can kind of organize some things behind the scenes. But Lee, we were talking about the club's involvement in the community this season, how big of a deal that is. We got a question from Twitter. I'll pull it up for you so you can see it. from Sebastian Milo. What do you see in the future of Miami FC and the impact they have in the soccer community? I know this is a big deal for you, something you care about passionately. So I'm gonna turn the mic over to you, and I'm gonna make some space. Yeah, I know, big time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
And I'll step around and kind of give you the floor for
I'm gonna. Okay. So the future for Miami FC. Well, the future is still looking quite bright because we're still here, and I always say as long as we're here and existing, then we have a future. I think we could have thrown in the towel at any point, and we haven't done that. But with regards to the community, well, if you was here tonight instead of watching online, you'd see that there's far more of the players at one of these events than we've ever had before. So I think there's a feeling from the club that they want to try a little bit harder to build something with the community, get out and get players and staff here in front of people. We have the academy now, and it's I think it's just about being an alternative. You know, this city can sustain multiple clubs. It really can. And but you have to get out there and make people want to come. So by having fun events like this, by getting back on the field, by playing soccer and winning, which we did a lot of winning last season. This is Miami. People turn up when you win, and as long as they keep winning, and as long as this is a squad we can relate to, we can come down and have a beer with them, and then with the kids are so important. Galazzo, he comes in and he has a little laugh with us. We love him, and the kids love him. So that's great, and we always see kids down at the games. The kids are the future. Yeah. It's not a cliche, it's true.
I believe the children are our future.
They definitely are our future. So the academy and just, the kids that have been coming for a couple of years now, like, Mum and Dad, can I go down the game? That's where the future lies, for sure.
And I think to go on what you were saying about this city can support multiple teams, we already see that happening to some extent with Miami United and Miami FC. Kind of each has their own fan base embedded, and it's not really one is pulling from the other, or like we kind of support each other. Like, well, at the end of the day, Miami FC has its fans and Miami United has its fans, but I feel like both crowds kind of just want to watch soccer. So if their team isn't in town that day, they'll go to the other one, and it's on a smaller scale because it's NPSL, but to think about it, it's like it's a sport you want to watch. Yeah. And it's not like it's like, oh well, now we have this, so I will completely abandon that. And if that's your mentality, then have fun. But
and you have that option. You can go watch a different game every week. I'm very loyal to this club, and then we have the new the franchise coming in Miami, and then that's going to have far more broad appeal, and the whole thing will just snowball. Like it's going to just be good for soccer in this city to have all these different options. So, yeah, I think it's down to the community as well. The club will make those bridges, but the community have to buy in to going out and watching soccer. There's nothing like watching soccer live. It's much better than watching it on the TV, much better than watching it in a bar. This season, what is it, $25 to come down and watch Miami FC in the NPSL
regular
for the Founders Cup?
NPSL Pro, yeah.
It's $25. I've spent that here tonight already. It's nothing. So I think the community has to do a little bit. Just come down and check it out with an open mind. And if you're one of these people who says, I want to support all the Miami teams, then back that up and come out and support all Miami teams. If that's what you want to do, that's great. Just support the game. What else we got?
So now I'll interview Lee. How exciting was it to come out tonight and finally see the players in person as opposed to just Twitter announcements and kind of everything getting together? Like it's starting now, right?
It does make a big difference because as much as people can talk about it online, it really feels like football's come home. It's come back. Soccer's here. And the new jersey, this new kind of like electro fade that Lance Roseboom is wearing behind me, if you can see it, is awesome. It's like you get that little buzz back. There's nothing like watching your team play, and it's been since August. Was it August the 2nd? There was a playoff final.
Yeah.
That's been a long time. That's been a long time.
Yeah. Well, part of the problem too is after the original NPSL offseason, the USL still had a ton of play left than MLS, so it's kind of just sitting here, and you kind of had to observe the other American leagues still going on, where we milked the NPSL for every game they had.
Yeah,
we took it from regular season down to the very last game, where imagine if we lost, Miami FC lost the playoff game or didn't make it all the way.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, that's why I'm more excited too, because the Founders Cup, it's like, oh, so the regular season's going to end, and then we're going to,
Yeah.
it's very NASL-y, where there's going to be a little break, but then it's going to reboot, but then that reboot's going to have the top flight teams. And
Exactly.
I'm really excited to get Detroit and Chattanooga and Milwaukee touring into the mix. Like,
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned the UPSL. We'll shout out the UPSL a little bit because, again, I support one club, but I went down and I watched a lot of UPSL soccer. It was free. I could turn it with my cooler, with my sandwiches and my adult beverage. And I had a great time down there. And we ended up streaming some games and it was good soccer. So much good soccer in this city.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Founders Cup, to have those, I hope that Detroit and Chatter bring a good crowd down. I like what Milwaukee Torrent are doing. And then even today we had the announcement of Napa Valley.
Yeah.
That looks like a solid team. Oakland Roots has started off strong.
Yeah.
And like San Diego, I've left a couple of teams out, Arizona, Tucson, whatever. That Founders Cup is going to be unique. It's another unique thing for us to watch. What, like the 5th competition we played in.
Yeah.
If you count Open Cup, NASL, MPSL. Yeah, Founders Cup will be the 4th, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, it's soccer, and it's soccer all year round.
Yeah.
And we get a game back at the Ricardo Silva Stadium. I'm excited about Barry.
Yeah.
I think Barry.
We were talking about that earlier. And
Yeah. I mean,
it's probably one of the nicer collegiate fields, or just fields in general in South Florida
Yes.
to play on.
And I love the Bob. There was something about the Bob. I mean, the Bob filled in that place at the right time, and the way the sun would set behind the Bob, and you would get those. Yeah, you did that, and you get those pinky purple sunsets, and we would just hammer teams there. 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. But Barry is like a little step above that. It's a little more proper soccery. Very nice surface, nice stand. The stand faces the other way.
Yeah.
So the sun will set behind us, so we'll get the dramatic eastward view. Yeah, man.
We'll all get nice rednecks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Back of the head tans.
have to get the sunblock out, but yeah, it's exciting times, and it's what, a month away?
April 20th. So yeah, just a little over a month.
And we have the Open Cup again.
Yeah.
And so it's just us. And at the moment, the Soccer Soldiers in the Open Cup. If the Soccer Soldiers get through, it's likely to be Soccer Soldiers versus Miami FC in the Open Cup first round, and that'll be a good game.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's nice to be back in the Open Cup as well.
And this man will be able to write a hell of a preview for the Soccer Soldiers. They kind of have become the team we've focused on the most on Magic City Soccer post NPSL season, because there's a huge amount of talent out there, surprising amount of talent.
They have now 2 teams in the UPSL.
Yeah.
But then, of course, the winners of the UPSL in our region was Miami Sun. So they upset the apple cart there a little bit. I think people were expecting Soccer Soldiers to come out on top. And now in the UPSL, we have Red Force in there as well.
Yep.
We've got a couple of good-looking teams.
Miami
Atletico,
United
Miami
B team?
CF. Yes, the Miami United. It says Miami United, but it's a development team, but it'll still be a great team.
Boca Raton FC.
Well, UPSL is split now into West Palm and then Broward and Dade.
Yeah.
But then in the playoffs, my boys, the Palm Beach Spartans, so much soccer over the next 3 months here.
Yeah.
Like, you could literally go to a game Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you wanted to, in this city.
And we might.
Should we get a player over here? I, feel like
I don't know. I think Matt went to go talk to a player, but
I have a present for Lloyd Sam, so this needs to happen.
Do you have a present?
I got a present for him.
Yeah? Should I just go grab him?
Should we go and grab him for a
I'll grab him.
Let's go and grab him. Like, I've been left on my own, which is dangerous. They've left me alone with the Magic City Soccer YouTube channel. So, okay. Now it's wives and girlfriends hour. So we're going to try and get Lloyd Sam over here. I think we should put him in the middle.
You sit next to him.
Where am I sitting?
What a handsome man.
Why, thank you.
Oh,
You mean him?
No, definitely you.
Lloyd, welcome to Miami.
Welcome to Miami.
I have a little present for you.
English accent.
Yeah, exactly. No. Hold this.
Okay.
Hold the thing.
This is like a Nardwar, but for soccer.
I've got you a little present to say welcome to Miami
Okay.
because this is hard to get in this city.
Oh, really? PG tips.
I got you some,
I'll take
I
that.
got you proper tea.
Hey, this means
So,
a lot to me. This means a lot to me.
a little taste of home.
Oh, it's,
A little taste of home. This is proper tea.
I really appreciate that.
Because I know that when you get the Argentinian guys on the team,
The
they have
mate.
that
I
mate,
do like the Argentinian one
which
too.
is
but
great. I love it, but then
Yeah.
you can't beat a proper cup of tea.
I'm gonna bring
can
you some baked beans
So,
at one point this
welcome
season.
to Miami.
What
sir.
about HP sauce?
HP sauce.
Well, I know.
Brown sauce. I don't mind brown
I
sauce.
think an athlete, an HP sauce, that's full of sugar. But he can treat himself to a
Luckily,
cup of tea.
we run it off in the sun, right? But I appreciate that, man. That's very nice.
There
of
we
you,
go.
man.
So what's it like to be in
I'll take
Miami?
that. What's it like to be in Miami? I'm still figuring that out. I mean, I haven't been here too long, but every day seems like an adventure still. Like, you know what I'm saying? I live downtown Brickell area.
Yeah, I've seen the Instagram stories. So
Oh,
I know,
you've seen the
you
stories?
live in my neighborhood.
Oh, yeah, you've seen the
Yeah,
view.
that
Okay.
part of town, like the view and everything, the weather.
You know, I mean, if you're coming to Miami, I looked at a couple different places. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me try and live nice and really experience the city. And I'm experiencing it.
Well, I've been here for like 8 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I've been here for a little while now.
I was just
So-
talking to Dylan. I was saying, I don't know what it is about when English people come over, we never want to go back.
Yeah, no.
I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger exactly what it is.
I have to have a Google Calendar for my family so
Yeah.
they can book time to come
Oh,
over and
seriously?
stay at my place.
Yeah, that's
they
been
love coming
that's
over
been
here.
happening with me.
When I used to live up in Calgary, and it was like, I
Oh,
know when
really?
we go there, it's still cold and snowy.
Serious?
Mason Trafford's up there now. But like in Miami, it's like, yeah, no, everyone,
Oh,
everyone,
Miami.
there's, you know, it's a fun city to be in.
Shall I
And
tell
to
you-
be here playing soccer and everything,
Yeah.
that's going to be
I
awesome.
told you the biggest thing I've took from coming here was the quality of our team. That is actually the biggest thing.
Right?
I mean, I didn't expect to see such quality, like, to train with every day. And, like, don't take that lightly. There's guys, I'm like, wow, like, I've been
It's a
in
good
MLS
team.
and whatever, England. And
Outside of you, who's the best player? Or who impressed
I wouldn't
you?
wanna
Who
say-
impressed
I wouldn't
you the
wanna
most?
say
Who
one
impressed
name.
you the most?
is it, let's come back to that one.
How about the boss? How about the gaffer? Like, what's it like working with Paul Dalglish so far?
Hey, there's a lot of questions coming at me right now.
Don't listen to these guys. Yeah, don't
What inspires the hair? What inspired the hair? What did I do? Someone said I should do it one time, and I was like, you know what? It's not really for me. And then once you dye it once, you just keep going. And it gets lighter and lighter and lighter, and then, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted to take a few years off my age too. You know?
Yeah, well, mine's getting lighter and lighter, but in a different kind of way.
He's got the natural
I'm
version
gonna have
of
to
it.
start
Mine's not
copying.
far off
Yeah,
you.
I'm gonna have to
Mine's
start
not far
copying
off,
you.
so
Yeah, definitely.
So you're coming in as a long list of Red Bulls legends to play for this team.
Oh,
We
yeah?
had Barajo, Johnny Steele, and
Yeah.
Hunter Freeman.
Okay.
Do you remember those three guys at the Red Bulls, or you played with
Remember
them
Johnny
sometime?
Still? I still speak to Johnny Still.
Johnny Steele's
Was,
the best.
was any of them kind of the referral to come to our team, where they're like,
I
yeah,
spoke-
man, get out here?
I spoke to him more about Miami than the team.
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
time.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like when it was already being done, I was like, oh, where should I live? What areas are good? Johnny Still is the main guy I would talk to. Barao, I know him pretty well from Red Bulls, but further back. Hunter Freeman, was he at Red Bulls or wasn't he at Cosmos?
I believe both.
Was he at Red Bulls?
I think
too?
for a short
Social
amount of
media.
time, yeah.
Okay, cool. I didn't know that. It wasn't the time I was there, so I don't know him. But the other two guys, great guys.
But Johnny Steele, when he came back in, because he had a long injury layoff,
Yeah.
he came back into our team.
And he scored a cracker in the
like,
final.
He scored a cracker, but like
I've
Steele
heard
by
all
name,
about
Steele
it.
by nature, like
Yeah.
that guy could run through walls, I'm sure. It's
Yeah,
a cliche,
man,
but I'm
honestly,
sure he could.
Steely's a tough guy.
Great
man,
lad as
if he
well,
ever
great
sees
lad.
this.
Yeah.
He's a
I
tough guy.
have a Red Bulls question for you.
All right.
Did Bradley Wright
is
Phillips
Magic City
ever?
soccer,
Yeah,
not
but
fucking Big
I'm from
Apple
New
soccer.
Jersey, so fuck off. Did Bradley
Oh,
Wright
can we
Phillips?
say that word? We got to bleep that out.
No, this
Did
is-
Bradley Wright Phillips ever try to make you listen to one of his mixtapes?
Did he have a mixtape?
You never heard him rap?
I've heard him rap.
Oh, okay,
I wasn't
okay.
aware of a mixtape, but I mean, it's a funny story about Brad. Like when we first met each other properly, like we knew of each other, we actually like MC'd to each other on the field at 19 years old. I used to do a little bit of music back in the day, and like that was our first interaction. I can't imagine, and he was playing for Manchester City that time, and I was at
Oh.
Charlton. It's before the game.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, wow, like that would never happen now before a game. I meet someone for the first time and we rap to each other. it was like it's a crazy thing that happened, but that's I haven't heard his mixtape, but I have heard.
I don't think he has a mixtape, but I've seen his what is it, the basement?
Yeah, I've heard,
yeah.
I've heard all about that. Me and
Yeah.
Brad are close. We talk a lot, and I'll probably see him soon when I go back to New York.
If you want to bring him down here, like that'll be
Are
fine
you,
with me.
are you still rapping? Are you still rapping?
Yeah.
Not really, not really.
We'll get you later tonight or later in the season to throw some bars.
Maybe,
Who wants a
maybe.
beer?
Karaoke, maybe.
I have a beer. Lloyd, can you have a beer or is it?
I have one over there.
You have one
I have
over
one
there,
over
okay.
there. I didn't want to.
Charges of the bird.
Oh, that's being charged to the
Oh
team.
no, it's not me. That's.
My wallet ain't coming out today.
We'll get you later in the season to do a Skepta karaoke. That's not me.
So what podcast is this then?
Magic City Soccer.
Magic City.
We
Soccer.
are Magic
You
City
just sat
Soccer.
down with
You can
us.
see
You're
it.
like, I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah, man. You guys seem like friendly guys.
Nice guy.
It's
I
a friendly
appreciate it.
city. That's why. That's another reason why I stay there. They're very friendly people. They're very friendly people. They like a drink as well. So you know.
Everyone here is happy,
And
man.
everybody has
Yeah.
tea in their backpack, so
There's different kinds of tea.
The
So
sun-
the Magic City Soccer is sponsored by PG.
And the sun is shining all
Exactly.
the time, so why would you
Exactly.
be happy?
And it's night time and I'm sweating my ass off.
yeah.
This is one of the cooler days.
Yeah,
What if it was
this
really
is
hot?
winter.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, you wait till it gets to summertime,
Yeah,
man. I mean, I'm sure you play down here in Florida in the summer at some point anyway.
Orlando, wait, that was tough.
Orlando. Wait, you think Orlando is bad? Wait till you get to August in Miami.
Is it worse here?
Yeah.
You guys are scaring me.
It's like being in a hot bath, like when you're just outside the
Just
whole
outside,
time.
seriously.
Oh, no, man.
You guys will start
It's
feeling in the
humidity.
training. You're gonna get more tired.
I've heard so much about
But
it.
it's good though, because by the time you guys hit the Founders Cup,
Yeah.
you guys are gonna be in such crazy condition that when the teams from Detroit and stuff come down here in the winter.
I just saw that we have to play Miami United 4 times this season.
Oh yeah, because they're in the
Oh, yeah,
Founders
we
Cup.
do.
Yeah,
We do.
yeah,
a lot of times to play them.
Miami, they're from
Is that a
Miami.
big game for the fans here?
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. We call it the Magic City Classico because it is the Magic City. Yeah, and we owe them because they knocked us out the Open Cup.
Yeah, I've
so
heard-
we
I've
owe
heard
them.
the story.
We owe them a damn good item. We've never beaten them.
You know what?
We've never beaten them.
There was some sketchy
What?
stuff.
We've never beaten them.
We've never beaten them.
In competitive games when we played them, we've never beaten Miami United. Last season we drew
Yeah.
1-1 in both games in the league.
Yeah.
They knocked us out of the Open Cup, so they have the bragging rights, and I hate it.
Wait,
I
is
hate
last
it.
season the first time we played them?
Yeah.
Yeah. In
Wow, we've
competitive.
never beaten them.
We've
I-
never beaten Miami United, and we
I
need to protect
guarantee
that
you-
straight. Easy tips. So,
I guarantee you.
and that's the
I'll
first
give you
game.
another box of PG
That's,
chips.
that's
The
the
PG
first game.
guarantee.
We'll beat them. We'll beat
So
them.
you need to tell that, you need to circulate that around the dressing room.
Man, we're
Boys, the
focused,
fans
man.
have never had a chance to go
If
to the.
I'm honest, the gaffer's got us real focused, man. We're
Yeah.
working hard. Like, we've come in very early.
That was my last question to get back to
Very-
football.
yeah.
Working with Paul Dalglish.
Yeah.
Is that good? What's he like?
It's been great so far,
Yeah?
man. I love coming into places where there's a clear system.
Yeah.
And he has a clear system how he wants us to play. So that's what we've been learning. You know what I'm saying? We came in 3 months before the season starts, basically.
Yeah.
Which is rare. That never happens. But I mean, we're enjoying it. We're enjoying every day.
You just want to play football, don't you? You just want to get out
Just
there
wanna
and play football.
You're in
and then
Miami
train.
playing football.
Yeah, exactly.
What more do you want
Can't
out
beat
of
that.
life? You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously. Like, what more do you want? So I'm really happy.
And now you guys have Thomas Granito, who
He's
used
good.
to play for Miami United.
Yeah,
So that's your
bit of
inside guy.
extra.
Yeah.
He's having a great preseason.
Yeah,
He's having a great preseason.
He's out in.
So you've had a chance to think about it now, like in the squad. Like, who's any standouts for you?
I mean, the first day I came, Dylan had, someone's in front of the camera.
someone mentioned that.
Dylan had a great session. And I was like, oh,
Dylan.
where have you played? I was like,
Yeah.
how have you not played MLS going forward? I mean, I don't want to say certain names and leave guys out, but
Yeah, no. I mean, they're all good guys, obviously.
there's been a lot of players, man. If I could go through the whole team, like Ariel
Yeah.
on the wings, we got Dario's finishing up top, and Mo, the new guy we brought in. I say the new guy we brought in. I'm the new guy we brought in too. But,
Dario Suarez, when he gets his head down and he's get like,
Yeah,
he's on the left wing.
I mean, we got,
He's
you know,
incredible.
honestly, like seriously, like the strength in depth. In the midfield, we got Granito, we got Brian James, Lance. We got a lot of players. I shouldn't have even started with names because I've forgotten certain people's names. At the back, we're strong. Brenton, Callum, Jalen.
It's a new look back
We've got
line
a lot
for
of
us.
competition. Right back, there's a good competition
Yeah,
there.
competition is good though.
We've got Chinny and Mark. I'm naming the whole team now. We've got Mark in goal. We
We
got
can pull up the
Lionel.
roster if you want to. Yeah.
We got Baggio left back. Hey,
It's like the award acceptance speech.
we
where you're
got-
like,
we
did
got-
I forget anybody?
Who have I forgot?
Have you met Paul Crichton yet, the new goalkeeping coach?
He's what a guy.
Yeah, because
His-
we looked
we
at
were
his
obsessed
career
with
on
his career.
Wikipedia,
Yeah.
and it was like, what clubs hasn't he played for?
He's been
It's
at
like
every
a
club.
It's like a shopping list.
So I tell you what, Paul Cran, what a funny guy, man.
He
Really?
hasn't.
He's a funny
Character?
guy.
I wish you were here
I was
tonight.
excited to come here because I thought Paul was here.
Oh, yeah? He didn't play at Leighton Orient though. That was
you
the
know-
one club he didn't touch.
I need to look at his
His
history.
career, and he had a good like cup game. There's like video footage of him on YouTube.
Seriously?
When he played for Grimsby,
Yeah.
Grimsby knocked West Ham out of the
Yeah.
FA Cup, and there's Paul Crichton
Wait,
flying
how long
across the
ago was
goal.
Cratton playing?
Sorry,
How old was Paul Cratton?
now we probably about 15.
I was trying to see if I've ever played against him, but 50,
I don't,
that's
maybe
tough.
it could have been a little over that.
That's tough.
Because like he played for some clubs,
It's
and
like
then
a
some.
scroll, like you could
Yeah.
roll it out on a
It
piece
is
of
like a
paper and
movie
it'll touch the
credits.
ground.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a look at Paul's career. Like, he's a funny guy, though, man.
You gotta call him out at practice and be like, "Have I ever scored against you? Just tell me right now."
I'm gonna look at the teams he's been at first.
Look
and
at
then
that.
See.
Look at that. 'Cause it
They'll
may-
probably have a few crossover players.
I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
It's like the 7 degrees of.
Has he played with that many teams?
honestly, like, can I get it from my phone?
Yeah.
I'll try and get it from
I
my
can-
phone real
Let's
quick.
pull it up.
Let's
Let's
just,
pull it up.
you do it because like my signal's been
I-
bad. But yeah, no, literally, I'm not even talking about 5 or 10. There's like 25 teams. There. Loan. A few
Oh, not
loans,
loans.
but then you sort of get into like non-league teams, and that always got it here.
Yeah, okay. I'm
this is
gonna
the
mispronounce
fullest.
half of these, but I think I got it. We got Nottingham Forest, Notts County, Darlington, Petersborough United, Darlington again, Swindon Town, Rottingham United, Torquay United, Petersborough United, Doncaster Rover, Grimsby Town, West Brom Albion, Aston Villa, Burnley, Norwich, York City, Gainsborough Trinity, Stafford Rangers, Lehigh RMI.
Accrington Stanley.
That's a
Who are
tough-
they?
That's what
Who are
messed
they?
me up.
Exactly.
Gillingham,
Yeah, you know the-
Cambridge United, Kings Lynn, Brighton Hove Albion, and Sheffield United.
That's a lot of teams.
That's a list.
Is that in order of what he
Yes,
who he
that's in
played
order.
for?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's
Amazing.
If you want to get the T-shirt, it's in the works.
We're trying to do a T-shirt.
That's a lot of teams. That's a lot of teams. Wait, let me look one more time. I'm trying to see if I played for any of the teams.
There's
he's been
no
at.
years on there, but
It's
like
a bad
maybe
screen cap I
I
gave
don't know if you, unless you had a little stint at
I've,
like
I've not played at any of those clubs.
Brighton or something like that. I don't know. It's
probably
funny
played
watching these
against
guys
them.
trying to pronounce the
I
English
played
names
for Notts
as well.
County.
I came pretty close,
I
no?
played for
My
Notts
favourite was
County.
Lehigh RMI. Like you know,
I said Lehigh.
it's Lee, mate.
Lee.
Where is it?
Gainsborough Trinity. Gainsborough. It's Gainsborough.
Gainsborough.
Just Notts County. We cross over.
Now when
there.
I try and get on, have you learned any Spanish yet?
I know a little bit.
A
tiny
little bit, it's the
tiny
same as
bit.
me, mate.
Can-
It's the swear words first. and
Can you throw us a non-swearing phrase?
then,
Non-swearing bit.
Yeah.
Te
Or
amo.
I'll
Te
do
amo.
yeah. Oh, there we go. He's learned the
There you go.
important
Yeah,
one.
yeah, the
He's
important
done-
one.
Those are the important
Okay,
ones.
yeah.
Those are the important ones.
How about you?
Ah, well, no, all mine are rude. So
I'll give you a good one.
when you're shouting at people on the street.
It's El Tiburón comer mi familia. It translates
Shark.
to the shark ate my family.
I know Tiburon.
Yeah.
That
That would be useful.
I've been
at
here for
some
10
point.
years and that's all I got.
Audience question. How old are you?
What?
How old are you?
Oh, I never
That's a bad
tell. I never
question.
tell my age.
Why not? We can Wikipedia that shit.
Nah, don't Wikipedia. You don't want to
Can
know.
I see your ring?
His name is Zassi.
Can we look at his ring,
Oh,
please?
we look in the ring.
Take it, but we can. Take it.
You girls are funny.
So the supporters, yeah, the supporters group of Miami, the supporters group of Miami FC is Dade Brigade, but there's also Lady Brigade.
The Lady
It's called
Brigade.
what brigade?
Lady Brigade.
What was the other one
Oh,
called?
Dade Brigade.
Oh, Dade.
It's Dade County. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
got it,
yeah.
got it. And this is Lady Brigade.
Yeah.
The Lady Brigade, right, yeah. Get a few drinks in them and this is what happens, man.
This is getting.
I like the Lady Brigade. I like the Lady Brigade.
I think the Lady Brigade probably likes you.
Good energy, good energy.
Lloyd, I think we should, it's been a pleasure chatting.
Yeah,
but we'll
run
let you,
now
we'll let you get
before
back to
these
your
people
boys.
start yelling
We
at
very
you.
much
I'll take
appreciate
my
the
feeding
time.
tips.
Enjoy the tea.
Thank you, man. That's very thoughtful. of you.
And it's I'll
Remember,
tell you where you can find
if
it.
we don't beat Miami United this season,
Yeah, well,
And you owe him 2 things of tea.
I'm gonna give you more than
Can we do a
50
bet? If you guys lose the United, you have to give him 2 tea things
we'll
back.
come up with something.
We'll
But,
beat them. We'll beat them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Thank you for
so
talking
much.
to us.
All right, cool. Lady Brigade.
Lady Brigade.
Lady Brigade.
All right, cool.
Lloyd Sam, everyone.
Yeah.
Wow, now I'm a little bit even more excited.
Yeah.
There's that kind of like energy and fire to beat Miami United.
Yeah.
Who should I have been?
Especially because coming from probably one of the higher profile names signed.
What a
that-
nice guy.
he
What a
kind-
nice
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
What a nice guy. Yeah.
I won't even lie. I geeked out a little. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm a Red Bulls fan, so I saw him play on TV.
I don't know how you can be a fan of two teams, but you do you.
I'm a Metro
you.
Stars fan at heart,
A
which
Metro
is a
Stars
team that
fan at
doesn't
heart.
exist anymore.
And you know me, I like the Fall River Marksmen.
Speaking of me nerding out, I know this isn't on camera, but the whole time we sent head podcaster Matthew Bunch out to go find a player to interview, he's been talking to Paul Dalglish.
the whole time.
Yeah.
While we've been holding it down.
He was supposed no, tilt the camera on. Let's get a sneak shot of your husband. We're on a delay, but this is what Matt decided to do. Instead of talking to Lloyd Sam, there's probably they're talking about 80s Liverpool jerseys and
Yeah, he's currently in this Liverpool romance. Apparently they're doing quite well in the Premier League.
I never heard
I don't
of
know.
them.
I don't know.
Baby, top of the table.
I don't think they are top of the table at the moment, are they?
Oh boy.
I think they're second at the moment, aren't they?
Oh boy.
Okay.
Yeah, you just
What?
missed Lloyd Sam, and we were making fun of your. Yeah, you're supposed to bring Paul Dalglish here.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
We got Lloyd
okay?
Sam to sit down right away.
I gave Lloyd Sam.
No, he knows.
I gave Lloyd Sam some
Look,
tea.
He's the man in charge.
He nardwarred it. Do you want me to just go get him?
No, he's.
Now we're calling you out live
Yes,
on
I know
YouTube and
you call
everything.
me out
Yeah.
live out on YouTube.
Well, yeah,
but
yeah.
okay. My
Let-
wife kind of
leave
handles
it
the
up-
dirty business. in
Yeah.
the house. Okay, here he is. All right.
It's
Cool.
a delay.
Stand up for the
It's a
delay.
delay.
Yeah, no,
It's a
it's
significant
been a
delay.
delay.
That's the way it works.
All right, cool.
Hold up.
All right. We got him.
Yeah, you can sit here, mate. I can talk to Felipe anytime.
Do you know
My-
what?
What?
So, what do you call a Frenchman
What's that?
in flip-flops?
A Frenchman in flip-flops? No, go.
Felipe Falop. You like that? Dad joke. Dad joke.
That's
He always wears flip-flops. He's wearing them now as well.
the comedy stylings of one Paul Dalglish, the head coach, the man in charge of Miami FC.
Wait. Do you like head coach or do you prefer manager or
Don't
boss?
care.
Or you don't really
Whatever
care?
you want.
Just don't call you late for
What do they
dinner.
call
Just
you?
don't call me things that a lot of other people have called me.
We'll leave that aside for now, but lot of lower level soccer stories that at some point we're going to want to probe. We want to focus on Miami FC tonight because this is obviously what we're here for, the big kickoff celebration, NPSL.
Even though you're wearing a Miami City hat.
Oh, no,
there
no,
was
no.
noticed. There was noticed.
This is Magic City Soccer.
All right,
This is
all
our
right,
own
that's
custom.
all right,
No,
yeah,
no, no.
all right.
They wish they had our stylings. Custom
go,
logo,
Magic
yeah.
City.
Yes,
That's
so.
my dyslexia kicking in.
So, second year with the club, a little more stability than when you came in last year, a little more predictability.
Stability in lower league soccer?
In
Look,
America?
as much as you could hope for, I think, at this
All right,
point.
yeah.
But you're coming into 2019. You've got plans in place. You've got competitions in place. You've got, obviously, players out here tonight. What are you most looking forward to now that this thing's about to kick off in a couple weeks?
You know, it's just all the preparation, and then it's all that build up to the first game. And you know, there's a lot of hard work goes in. A lot of hard work from the staff, a lot of hard work from Lloyd Sam. It's rubbish. Big disappointment. Big disappointment. You know, big disappointment. You know.
They expected me to be overweight. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Hey,
And
he
actually
played.
looked my
Hey,
age.
hey.
And then he was pleasantly surprised. when he
No,
saw
no,
me.
no. Hey, he came from Red Bull. I wish he'd drink some, get some energy. You know. That was-
He should have like a lifetime supply or something. If you play with the
Well, I
club.
gave him some PG tips to welcome him to Miami. So it's not quite Red Bull.
Yeah.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
you know,
So
What do you think of his hair? Do you like that?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
You can't miss him on the field. I mean, the thing is,
I
everyone's
can't
got,
have an opinion on her.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
You've relinquished your participation.
Sorry, I interrupted there. He
No.
interrupted actually.
Yeah, he interrupted.
I just joined
You
in.
Interrupted. Who cares? Interrupt me. It's probably funnier than what I'm going to say. But so.
serious football now.
So let's go. Let's talk about the game. You said the build-up, the preparation for the season is what you're really focusing on.
Yeah. No, because like you do all the work, you do all your research on people, not only as players, but one thing I've learned in my time as a coach is you can have good players, but if you've not got a good dressing room, it doesn't matter how good you are. You've got to have good people first and foremost. And it sounds like a cliche, but it's true. and we did our research this year on who we wanted to come and represent the club. And we've got great guys. And I know it sounds cliche, but we really worked hard, and what we said was rather keep the squad small and go into the season maybe needing still to add 1 or 2 pieces, as long as we had people that represented the club and wanted to buy into the ideas and the ethos of the club, and we got that, you know. So pre-season's gone well, scored a lot of goals, some great results so far. But really, it's great and it gives you confidence, but until they really step over the line in that first game of the season, in a game that matters, you don't really know what you've got.
Sure.
So that waiting for that first game nerves and first game excitement is really what I'm waiting for.
We've been talking about the fact we've never beaten Miami United. We've never beaten Miami
Put that
United.
right.
We're going to put that one right.
Put that right for you.
Okay, good. That's good. That's good to hear.
I think the
confidence
fans out
is
there,
nice.
that's what they're going to want to hear for sure, is rectify that from last season. That was really the one thing missing from last season. I mean, claim the conference, claim the region, claim the national title. You have experience, winning national titles here at this level in America. What do you see out of this club this year that's going to be different, that fans can look at and see like, oh, this is something we didn't necessarily have last year that we have now and can put us again in that top position?
Well, the difference last year was really I came in and you're coming into a club that already has players, and then you come in with an idea of how you want to play. You start working with the players, and then you think there might be a better way to put this jigsaw puzzle together. So then you have to tweak and change and experiment, and eventually you come to a team that won 10 straight. At the end of the season, I think it was however many it was out the last however many games. We got off to a slow start because we were still trying to work out who we had, what was the best place to put people in, trying to accommodate senior players as well, that we wanted to make sure our game time. And it took a while to work out. This year, we've recruited based upon our style of play. And it's been a much quicker implementation of the way we want to play. So that's what's been different. So all of a sudden, we've gone straight to pre-season. 4-0, 3-2, 5-1, 6-0. Like the results spoke for themselves.
Sure.
And it's basically because from day one, it's been, this is what Miami FC is. This is what we do. And this is what I need you to do to make sure that Miami FC is successful. And there's just been a comfort level that's come with that has made us very effective.
I feel like we do have an identity now, and I think, Paul, that's one thing you've done a really good job on, is that there's kind of a Miami FC way of playing and an attitude. And like you say, you can see it here today. We've got so many players down here. We had an event here before, we maybe had 1 or 2. So I think you're right, that dressing room, that unity, for them all to come down here and show a little bit of respect and love for the fans is a great thing, and that's encouraging to see.
Well, that's the one thing, is as a new club, that was one of the things that I wanted to do when I came here, was go, okay, what is the Miami FC way, if you like? What does a Miami FC player look like? I made a blank canvas, really. I know we were successful. Alessandro Nesta's borderline a hero of mine. He's like one of the greatest defenders that's ever walked the planet. He's a legend, absolute legend. When I came here, I couldn't worry about what Alessandro did. Alessandro did an amazing job, but I had to come and be myself. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that when I leave, if I do leave ever, that I've put something in place that people know that if you take the Miami FC job, that this is the way that the fans expect you to play. And I think that is how, if you look at teams throughout the world, the biggest teams in world football, they have a way. And if you want long-term success, you've got to have a way. And one of the most important, yes, we need to win here, but we also needed to establish a way that can stand Miami FC in good stead for many, many years to come. And I think that was, we're not there yet, but we're slowly putting those things in place at this moment in time. And I think you saw it in patches last year, but I think you'll really see it from the first game of the season to the last game of the season this year.
So Paul, you're behind the scenes a lot. One of the things that people who are not fans of this club say about our club is that you got a couple of years when Beckham starts up, you're going to disappear. From the experience you've had with Ricardo and Sean, you're convinced this club is here to stay for a while?
Yeah.
Forever?
Look,
For good?
there's many cities in the world that have 2, 3, 4, 5 teams in the city. You know, and I think it's good for soccer as a whole. It's good for it's good for, if there's, you know, more media attention on the game in Miami, it can only be good for everybody. You know, we understand that Inter Miami are coming in and they're a monster. You know, they've got David Beckham behind them. They're going to be a monster. They're going to sign a world superstar. I'm going to go to the games. Like, I genuinely am. Like, if they're playing and they sign Messi or Griezmann or some of the other names again, like, I'm going to watch. I'm excited for them to come. But that doesn't mean that we can't exist anymore. You know, I'm still proud to be the head coach of Miami FC. And we're going to put a product on the pitch that people can relate to. And you know, and look, what would be cooler than getting them in the Open Cup?
And we will, because they regionalise it so much in the early round.
You know,
it's
Yeah.
going to happen. It will happen.
How cool will that be, man?
I think that's the dream. I think for
You never know. Look, I've been involved in the FA Cup. I've been involved in that in England, and it's romantic, isn't it? You know, your team. Look, and we're not a normal lower league team.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
with Ricardo's ambition, with the way Sean runs the club, we're not a normal lower league team. So
ask Orlando, ask Atlanta.
yeah, you know. So we want to go into that game and go, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun. You know, and you better look. Obviously, they'll be favourites going into a game, but let's have some fun, and they're going to have to be the best to beat us if that does happen.
I think that's like I said, when we started this back in 2016, Miami FC was relatively new and all this, and I think the dream that a lot of Omar and Drew and Lee and myself, the dream of having two teams competing, and we've debated this,
Two
and
or three, like,
the it's obviously good for the website because we have more teams to cover, but as a fan, my perspective is, okay, we've got different clubs and different levels. Let's go win everything. Let's go bring everything to the city. Let's bring
Let's
the
bring every
focus.
trophy to Miami.
Yes, let's bring the focus of the soccer world to Miami because we're doing something different because we have a different community that can support all of it.
The way I look at it, we're rivals on the field, but we're partners off the field. Let's try and grow the game in Miami. It's such a new sport in America. And what we've got to realise is, yes, you might be rivals on the field. But ultimately, everybody that has a passion in soccer in America, because it's such a young game in this country, is a partner. And we've all got to make sure that soccer becomes the biggest sport in America. And ultimately, that has to be the ultimate goal.
Yes.
And every one of us can play our part in that at our relevant level.
Now, speaking of that part, we got a question earlier tonight, and it's kind of been, I've kind of been hanging the whole show on this question because I think it's an interesting perspective, a good thing to think about, especially for a Miami FC that's finding its way now in NPSL and growing its ambitions. From Sebastian Milo on Twitter, what do you see, Paul, as the future for this club and the impact that the club is going to have on the soccer community? What do you think is your niche, your role in the soccer community here in Miami and across the country?
I don't think that I think we've got to first and foremost concentrate on our own doorstep, you know, and that's how we can affect the community in Miami. We're making steps to put an academy in place. Obviously, Ricardo Silva is passionate about football in Miami, and he wants to be here in a long-term plan. We have long-term plans. We've got, when we're talking about what Miami FC want to do, in the grand scheme of things, in a 25-year plan, this 1 or 2 years, although it's been hard for us as coaching staff, as players, as fans, in the grand scheme of things, it's only a blitz. And I've got no doubt that we're going to be back to the Miami FC that everybody knows in the not too distant future. But what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that, I think football teams in Europe, where Ricardo's from and who is the owner and the inspiration for everything that we do here, teams are not only teams, sports teams are sports teams in America. But in Europe, it's a pillar of the community, and that's my heritage, and that's Ricardo's heritage, that's your heritage. You know, it's what you, being as a Liverpool fan, you see that as well. And I think that we've got to be more than a football team. We've got to say, okay, what do we... I think a lot of sports teams in America take from the community, they take from supporters, but what do they give back? And I think one of the important things for Ricardo, one of the important things for Miami FC is how do we give back? How do we give back to the people of Miami? We want to put the academy in place. We want to make sure we'll be a different price point to Inter Miami. You know, we want to have a more interactive relationship with our players. We're here, the players are here, mixing with whoever wants to be here. And I think we've got to do things slightly differently. First and foremost, we've got to be good people in the community, and then I think you grow that fan base organically as you go along, and that's what we're going to try and do.
I think that's a good perspective, and again, I think it's an area, like you said, a lot of American sports in general, not talking about Major League Soccer or soccer specifically, there's always this debate about what the clubs receive from the community. I mean, we're seeing it right now with Inter Miami and the Mel Reese debate. We saw it with the Marlins and their stadium debate, kind of how, because Americans are very passionate about their sports, sometimes that can be taken advantage of. And so I think I'm not trying to put words in your mouth here, but I think what you're saying is that around the world, you, as a fan, a supporter, or not as a supporter, you see what the benefit is to having the club in the community. You see it even if you're not at all connected to the team. I think it's a fair point and something that I think any lower level side should focus on, making tangible difference in the community for the people who even aren't soccer fans.
Well, that's it. I think in America, in England, there's a little bit of rugby, there's a little bit of cricket in the summer, but it's football. You know, and if your football team's not doing well, you go into work on that week and you're not in a good mood. Whereas in America, what I found is if your football team's not doing well, there's always baseball, or there's always basketball, or there's always soccer, or there's ice hockey, and what we want, and that's okay. But what it becomes is it becomes a franchise. It doesn't become a pillar of the community. It doesn't become a club, a community asset. And I think what we want to be here, and look, we can get better. We can always get better. But what we really want to be here is we want to be a community asset, we want to be a club, and we want to give back as much as anything. And I think if you look, Ricardo's come in straight away, he put money into FIU by the naming rights to the stadium. You know, Ricardo, there's art galleries that he's come into Miami and he's tried to contribute to the city of Miami. And that's what we've got to do as well as a sports team. We've got to take the way Ricardo is as a person, and we've got to make sure that we have those same beliefs in our football club, and that's what we're going to try and do.
I think that's a really interesting perspective, Paul. We'll let you go. You've already been way too generous with your time.
I like talking.
Well, I was going, one last thing, like, are you settled in Miami? How are the family finding it and everything?
I'll be honest, the driving's hard to get used to.
Yes.
Like,
It's like everyone drives like it's their last day on earth,
well,
don't they?
people drive like I'm not trying to get home to my family and kids as well. There's nothing worse than being, I think it's 8:26, and you've got to turn to get on 95.
Oh, Golden Glades
FIU.
interchange.
That's the worst.
And I've, very polite, very British, I've waited in the line on the left-hand side, right? And somebody just drives to the front, no respect that I have waited for 10 minutes in that line, and pulls in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm trying to get home to my family. Stop that. Don't do that. So do you know what I've started doing? And I don't know if this is right or wrong. I don't let people in.
That's what happens.
It's honestly what you have to do.
I want to let people in.
But the city hardens you, man.
Your Britishness wants you to do that.
There's so many great things about Miami, but you drive in the city long enough, it will make you an evil person.
Do you know what happens? Do you know what happens? You go to the beach on your day off.
Yeah.
And the waves are coming in.
The first week
The
of March.
sun- right. It's not too hot now.
Yeah.
And you're like, I like Miami.
Yes.
But then you get back on the road and you're like, what are you?
I have taken to I think of myself
People
as
just please drive nicely.
I think of myself as a nice guy. I try to live my life as a nice guy. I have taken to, when there's an emergency lane on my right, I will move my car halfway into that lane so people can't pass me in that emergency lane. because F them.
Do you know what I
'Cause
saw?
that's what I say in
So
my
here's
car.
the thing. Here's what I saw the other day, and this is true, right? Hi, Dylan.
Hey, how's it going? it's Dylan Morris, the player
We're
of the
talking
season.
about
There's
driving.
a little bit of a delay, so you're
delay.
gonna pop up in like 30 seconds.
We're talking about drivers in Miami.
Oh my brother today, he just got in a couple days ago, and he's been coming with me to drive to pick up my son from school. And he had to drive because my son wanted me to sit in the back with him. And I'm not kidding, I thought we were gonna get in a few wrecks. And as we were driving, he was saying, he's like, oh my gosh, like these people are crazy. Like they're literally swerving in and out and pulling up and going 100 miles an hour and then stopping on the freeway like it's nothing.
Cutting in front of you. Cutting in front of you.
And now you wonder why there's 5 wrecks on each highway everywhere you go when you try to go home.
It's really like the reverse of mutually assured destruction. Like everyone is like, we're all gonna get in accidents, so I might as well get in mine right now. Like like let's do it. I don't care. Yeah, it's. I think this is an idea for the website this season.
Do you know what though? Right? Do you know what the worst thing I saw was?
Well, go please.
So I'm on 95 and I drive from 95 to get to St. Thomas University to train. You've got the express lane. There was traffic on 95.
Yes.
I didn't know you could drive over the barriers, right? I am there. Someone drove through the barriers, right? The barrier popped back up. They kept going. Here's my question, right? One, I was like, how did you do that? What happened? My second is, does it not register when you go through that you never entered there? Do they have to jump back out before they get through the next sensors?
I'm not gonna lie.
First off, I'm not a lawyer, but I think the law here is that if you go under on the exit, they scan your license plate and you get a ticket. I think that's how it works.
So
but
they must pull out before they go through the next check light.
I would guess so.
One time I was driving up to Fort Lauderdale, and there was a wreck, and there was no one in the express lane, absolutely no one. And I was looking, and it was about a mile up the road. I could see it was a hill, and I was thinking to myself, I saw a guy behind me about 500 yards behind me, literally just boom, right over the cones and go. And I was thinking to myself, oh, I have some pass, I'm doing this. Boom, go. And I never got a ticket for it. I got $16 for going through the sun passes without the pass. But I never got a ticket, ever.
Okay, so again, this is
Dylan didn't do that.
yes.
That's not Dylan
Yes.
Morris.
Okay.
That's somebody else. That is somebody else.
Okay,
The voice was like, hello.
that's Milandares, everyone. Milandares on the mic. But yeah, so
Anyway, you think you guys are bad? I'm a cyclist in Miami, and that is like the last
yeah,
place on earth.
Lee's got a death wish.
I had a motorbike when I was in Texas. Right? My wife, there's absolutely no way I would have a motorbike.
No, that can't come on the road. This is an idea.
No, I'm a cyclist. I cycle from my home to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Not on me, but I'll be sure to bring. I'll be sure to bring. Remind me, Drew, that Dylan wants one. We'll hook him up with one. Just in case you're curious, we do have Magic City soccer hats for sale on our website.
I don't need one.
No, you gotta let that glory shine, man. You just gotta let
I
that.
need some polish.
Yes, you gotta get the vitamin D. So this season, obviously, the first thing we need to do this season is Miami traffic horror stories. Hey, we got a comment. Okay, we're gonna take this comment and then we're gonna let you go and then we're gonna wrap things up. Coach, what do you think of Wolves in the Premiership? Any similarity in Miami FC? Wolverhampton Wanderers. How do you think they're doing this year?
Yeah.
What do you think of their performance so far?
Do you know what? They've got some good players. I like the guys in midfield. I think the two Portuguese guys in midfield.
Raul Jimenez.
Yeah, and then the other one, the little guy that came from Porto. What's his name?
Yeah,
I bought him in Championship Manager back in the day. What was his name? Football Manager, it's called.
Do
now.
you still play now?
No, I've not got time. But that ruins your life. It's amazing, but it ruins your
I'm
life.
the football manager. These guys.
In fairness,
I did.
you're an actual football manager, so you don't need to.
And do you know what? I like the two midfield players. Wolves play nice
well in
football, and
FIFA?
they've massively over-exceeded expectations. And for me, it's not what you achieve, it's what you should achieve based on the budget that you spend.
Right.
And I think they've outperformed the budget. So you've got to be happy if you're a Wolves fan with what they've done.
Oh.
FIFA story. So my son, I've not played FIFA since probably 20 years,
Okay.
right? So I've now got my 8-year-old son is now obsessed with FIFA. Dad, we play FIFA. Dad, we play FIFA. So now I basically play FIFA in real life for a living.
Yeah.
I said, can I have a day off?
Yeah.
No, Dad, we're playing FIFA. All right. So anyway, so we started joining the squad battles, right, where you play against other people online.
Yes.
Go 1-0 down, the game disconnects, right? It's a thing in FIFA where people, if the internet disconnects when you're ahead, the result stands.
Yes.
People just get 1-0 ahead and disconnect.
It's
I was as mad as I am when I'm driving in Miami because I paid for the league
oh
with
wow.
points and stuff.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
And
not
he's
fun.
like, Dad, I said, Sirocco, I'm sorry, son, I'm not very good. And I wasted so many points. But I've learned now. And
Yes.
I won't ever enter the league again. Do
I-
you do that? Do you disconnect?
No, I've
Oh,
never.
no, Mr. Roman.
No, look.
Oh, no, I don't.
No, I am the most annoying stickler when it comes to rules and like playing games. That I could be down 5-0, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm gonna be down 5-0. This is it. I wish I could tell you that I was a prick and disconnected and like, but no, I have never done that, not once. Because when it happens, I have the same reaction as you. I'm like, go fuck yourself, buddy. We were playing this game. We're supposed to be on the level. No, I don't swear on this podcast. But no, I hate that. I absolutely hate that. So no, it's really
Did you ever
annoying.
sign yourself on Championship Manager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it. I can't remember where I was playing, but I did, yeah. I did. Because I'd started in the lower league, and I bought myself.
Yeah.
It was all right.
I have to add myself in. I have to go in the editor. 20 for heading, 20 for pace, 20 for acceleration. So accurate. You know what I mean? Like,
But my
honest.
little son is so disappointed that his granddad's not in FIFA.
Oh, he's not one of the. Oh,
My
that
little
they've got to
boy
rectify
is
that.
Devastated.
Campaign.
Well, now that he's a
Because
knight,
he said,
they'll put him in,
so
right?
he actually, this is a true story. My son called my granddad and said, "Hey, I don't care that you're a son, you're not in FIFA." And that was like, it's so much more important to my son for him to be in FIFA than it is for him to be a sir.
Well, I mean, isn't Peter Moore used to work at
EA Sports, but Liverpool have a deal with.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Oh man, yeah. Okay,
He's
so
never getting in it.
yeah, that's true. That's unfortunate. Okay, now that
Nothing
we.
would make my son happier.
Oh, of course. No, yeah, granddad's in FIFA. That'd be a pretty great brag. Yeah. So okay. Item actions. 1, more traffic horror stories we need to hear from you over the course of the year. 2, get Kenny Dalglish in FIFA. 3, don't quit on your games of FIFA when you're playing somebody, in particular when a man's playing with his son.
Come to a Miami FC game.
And 4, come to Miami FC game. Always selling. Season tickets.
Despite the coach, it's a fun time.
Look, if the sun's at the right angle, if it comes off his head, you can get a tan.
Yeah,
That's
just don't listen. Bring sunglasses in case it's sunny. Because it
Shines off his head like that.
so season tickets $25, right? I mean, you were talking about the price point compared to Inter and MLS. You can't beat it. It'll be out at Barry University, and once we get to the Founders Cup, there'll be a game at Ricardo Silva.
Those people that sing and stuff.
Yeah, we do.
A little bit too loud for my liking, but to each his own.
Voice goes up to 11.
Paul, we're gonna let you go. We're gonna be bothering you again throughout the year.
Really? You need to go. Really?
Before he leaves, I want a good dad joke.
Oh, well, you missed the one at the beginning, so here's the
I believe you told
pressure's on.
What was my little? What do you call an alligator in a vest?
An alligator in a vest. What do you call an alligator in a vest? I don't know.
An investigator.
Paul has leash,
yes.
everyone. Paul has leash. Thank you so much. We'll see you next month.
Was that not the perfect outro?
Yeah, we got to end it right there.
Thank you for turning up 40 minutes.
You get better than that.
What?
Thank you for turning up 40 minutes.
Hey, look, you came in last. I disappeared in the middle. Drew disappears at the end. We gotta mingle. We gotta do our thing.
Lloyd Sam and, like,
Yes.
Matt, yeah.
Yeah. So we did our thing. I think
Kind of silver, everyone.
there's a plane flying overhead. Yes.
He didn't want to talk, but he ended up talking Miami traffic.
Yes. Dylan had great Miami traffic stories.
I said, I'm out of here.
Yes. Time to roll. Okay. So
The traffic is now why we have the FXE thing.
yes. Okay, that we got to get out on.
Dad joke.
He's Drew Hausman. He's Lee Fens. I've been Matthew Bunch. We'll be back around, obviously, in the next couple of weeks. more podcasts, more content as we lead up to the NPSL season. So until next time, go Miami FC and go Miami Soccer.